Hey, 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 hey. So what's up, everybody? So today is a special edition of Hits and Heels, sponsored by the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. So the Lexington African American Hall of Fame is one of my projects that I have been involved in for the last couple of years, where they highlight athletes from Lexington, Kentucky, that have not been given the flowers that they are due. And so they're sponsoring today because we're going to honor an athlete that graduated from a Lexington Fayette County school, Leah Edmond. She will be on shortly. So she's in Atlanta. So she is a professional volleyball player, and she plays for the Atlanta Vibe team in the Professional Volleyball Federation. And of course, she got stuck in traffic. So we're just going to wait for her, but we wanted to make sure that we got started on time because I had some things that we need to talk about anyway, right? And so first of all, the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame is holding their gala on September the 21st at the Central Bank Center downtown. And of course, once the tickets and stuff go on sale, make sure that you get your tickets. We are going to be honoring some phenomenal athletes from the local community that probably have not been given their flowers before, or they have, but we just want to make sure that they get recognized by us. And so we're excited about that. I also want to let those of you that have not tuned into my podcast before, Hits and Heels was created by me and my co-host Danny Wright. She's on the beach in overseas in somewhere, Puerto Rico, somewhere on vacation. And so I am a football coach, and I coach locally at Crawford Middle School. My husband is the head coach. His name is Tisco Bryant. He played at the University of Kentucky. We have a son that plays for Kentucky. He plays safety He is number 14. And we have an older daughter, Jalen, who's an entrepreneur and works for higher ed for Governor State, and she's in her doctorate program. So we're pretty proud about that. But I just want you guys to just hold on and hang on tight. So this Wednesday, we have a great guest, Jashawn. She will be, she is like a guru from Jackson State University. And then the week after that is my birthday on May the 29th. And my daughter will be my special guest, and she is going to open it up for questions where I guess she's going to interview me since it's my birthday, but any questions that people may have to ask me that they may be interested in, because I'm kind of putting everybody else's business out on the street, but don't really put our business out in the street besides the fact that I coach football. I also coach women's tackle football for the Derby City Dynamite. We play in Louisville. Our home field is Holy Cross High School. We do have a home games on June the 8th and the 15th, I believe. It's on my page. If you're going on my page, it's on my 15th. Hey Kevin, what's up? How are you? And if you go to my page, you'll be able to see my schedule. I think our games are on at 5:00, but make sure that you stay tuned in case the times change, because sometimes our first home game, we had to move it back to like 8:00. So it was a late game. So make sure that you tune into that. I want to shout out a whole bunch of people. So I want to shout out again, Jennifer and Bobby and Jennifer Jones, who are the owners and the founders of the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame, that are sponsoring tonight's show, but also have just given my husband and I just a platform that we're able to just kind of give in. And of course, he's calling me like right now, and I just texted him and told him that I was going live at 8:00, but hubby is calling me right now. So, so shout out to him. And so I can't wait for you guys to so just hold on tight. I didn't want to start late, and then you guys did not think that we were going to get started. But of course, Leah is coming. She is just stuck in traffic. It's Atlanta, And of course, right when you think that on the days that you don't have anything to do, you get home at a certain time. And then when you got something else going on, of course, traffic is going to be bananas. And it's Sunday. Like, what is going on in Atlanta on Sunday that is holding up traffic? But it doesn't matter. It's Atlanta, right? And so anyway, I think that might be it. Oh, let me tell y'all why I created Hits and Heels. I seem like I'm all over the place, but just forgive me. So I coach football, and I'm one of the only female football coaches in the state of Kentucky. I'm only one of two, I think, that coaches at a school, and I'm at a middle school. And I think there's one other young lady that coaches over at a high school over in Louisville. Hey, Monique. She's stuck in traffic, but she's coming. So Monique J. Smith is on, and she's one of my friends. So I may as well go ahead and plug her. So she is one of those people that if you are interested in going to the next level or getting any type of career position in athletics, she is like the number one guru. Matter of fact, she put me in. She has this magazine called Significance in Sports. She actually showcased me in one of her episodes. And so it's available on Amazon. But if you're someone that especially a female that wants to be highlighted in her in her magazine, definitely make sure that you reach out to her. You can't miss her because she goes by Monique AJ Smith, because Monique Smith is kind of a common name, but with the AJ in there, she should be easy to find. She also has her own podcast, and she also has her own thing. And our guest just came on. So I'm not going to waste any more time, and I'm going to go ahead and just and log her on. But anyway, so guys, let me introduce y'all to Leah Edmond. Leah, welcome to Hits and Heels.
Thanks for having me.
I hope I didn't stress you out while you being in traffic.
No, Atlanta's stressful. You're not stressful.
Okay, Monique, thank you for putting your website on there. So Monique's Chat in the Garden, that's her website. And if you want to be featured in her magazine, that's a great magazine to be featured into. If you're a woman that is in the athletic field and wants to be highlighted and to get some more publicity in that field. Anyway, now that our guest is here, and I've already done all the introductions, so you came right at the perfect time. Listen, y'all. So let me give y'all some background. So I live in Lexington, Kentucky, and we Fayette County Public Schools is in the same city as the University of Kentucky. So of course I'm a Kentucky fan. My husband played at Kentucky. My son is presently playing football at Kentucky. And so Leah graduated from one of our local schools, Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School. And then she was skilled enough in volleyball to go on and play at the University of Kentucky. And SEC I put her whole bio on here. So she's SEC Player of the Year, SEC, broke all the records. A beast. And so I've been following her since I think her senior year in high school, because of course I love volleyball. I love all women's sports, and I'm a big proponent of promoting women's sports, especially here in my city, and especially for the University of Kentucky, because we're Kentucky fans. So Leah,
yes.
Welcome to Hits and Heels, who is fresh off of your MVP.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of the league.
I'm excited to be here.
Good. So Monique says that she grew up with your father as well.
Oh goodness. Oh yes.
She says she is Tony from Waverly.
Gotcha. Yep, that's where my dad's from. So that
Tony from
sense.
Waverly.
That would make sense.
So she says she grew up with your father. So that's exciting. Just allow all the looks like the internet is trying not to be good to us today. So we're both kind of going in and out, but that's okay. We're just gonna keep it moving. It's just technology. And so Monique says that she's proud of you. And guess what? We're proud of you too, because I don't know what the history is, but I probably 5 volleyball players that have come out of Lexington, Kentucky, that have been good enough to commit and play at the University of Kentucky. Are you aware of any for you?
I am the first one from Lexington to ever play volleyball at Kentucky. So there's been plenty that have left Lexington to play volleyball, but I am the first that stayed in Lexington to play at Kentucky.
Okay, which is crazy. But
yeah, it is.
Because of the history of volleyball, yeah. But because of the history of volleyball and that is involved with it, if this internet is don't stop.
I don't know if it's me.
With volleyball. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised, but at the same time, a great accomplishment. Like, how did that make you feel that you were the first?
I was so honored. Like when they told me it right after I committed, so I had no clue. And then they were like, just so you know, like you're the first to ever play. And it was just like an incredible honor. And I think I had a little bit more pride every time I stepped foot on the court. Every time they said from Lexington, Kentucky, I think it like made me feel like I got to play just a little bit harder for all the girls in Lexington. But it was really, really cool to be able to do that and to say that I'm from Lexington. It's very special.
And that is special. And that was the reason why we created the Lexington African American Hall of Fame, because we've had some great athletes that have come that they deserve, but we want to make sure that we definitely honor our local heroes and sheroes that come out of the athletic arena around here. So again, this whole thing is going to be all about how proud we are that you even agreed as quickly as you did to come on. Of course, this is a special edition. Normally I air on Wednesday nights, and so I'm booked for this, and then I'm booked for the Wednesday after that, and I did not want to wait to bring you on. So give us your history, because I have your regular bio, but give us your history on how did you get involved with volleyball as opposed, because you're 6'2", so you easily could have played or maybe another sport. So give us your history.
So we were living in Arizona at the time, and I was a gymnast. Like I did gymnastics for 6.5 years. I thought that I was going to do that, and then I hit my growth spurt. And after that happened, my parents were like, okay, we got to find something for her to do that is not gymnastics, because this is not it for her. And so I tried basically every single sport: softball, baseball, basketball, track and field. I swam for a while, and I thought I was going to do that. I did golf. I mean, I did everything. And my dad was working at the University of Arizona, and the volleyball coach came to him and was like, hey, like, why don't you have her, like, she can come to a camp, let her come watch practice. Like, it's something fun that she can do. Like, get her out of the house. Like, just let her try it. So I went to camp, and I was like, okay, wait a second. I kind of like this. And I just kept going to camp, and I started playing at my like local YMCA, and then I ended up loving it. And I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. I don't know what to do. Of course, my parents had no clue. Like volleyball was not a thing when they were growing up, like not as prevalent as it is today. So they were like, what is this? Like, what are we getting into? Had no knowledge of it. I mean, I played basketball. Everybody wanted me to play basketball, but my dad, like I said, football coach, he played football. I don't like people touching me. I don't like people pushing up on me. So that didn't work well for me. I would foul out just about every single game. So I was like, perfect. You give me a ball and a net in between a person. I never have to touch anyone. Love that for me. And the love for the game just continued to grow. And I played AAU, and we moved to North Carolina, and I had a really good coach there that really pushed me to continue doing it and pushed me to want to go play in college. And then once we moved to Kentucky, that's like kind of when my recruiting process like shot out the books. And that's when I kind of started realizing that, oh, I want to do this for a long time.
So luckily, when you came to Kentucky, to Lexington, they must have had a great and I've heard the history. They had a great club program here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, during that time when I was coming in, that was probably like the best years of our club that we've seen. We were pushing out tons and tons of D1, and not like mid-major. I'm talking about like big Power 5 D1. So we were pushing out a lot of college girls. We were really successful in the club, and it was like a
Power 5.
Yeah, it was a really good time for Lexington volleyball during those years that I was in high school.
Okay, good stuff. But I think But how did you guys do? Because I think our high school teams we had a couple of high school teams that were doing well at that time too.
Yeah, we all were doing really, really well. Like districts and region was like very competitive. I got to go to state. We made it to state semifinals my junior year of high school. We like it was always like the Lexington schools would get to like semis, and then we could just never get into the finals. And then finally, a couple of years after, when I was in college, they started getting to the finals, but we still have not won a state championship for the city of Lexington.
A state championship in volleyball out of Lexington.
No public school has ever won a state championship in volleyball in Kentucky, which is like the craziest stats still that has not been broken. We've gotten plenty of chances, but I mean, the private schools, we play them during AAU. It's the same girls are playing with each other year round. So it's really hard to beat people like that.
Right.
In Lexington, we go from like different club teams to different high schools. So you never get a rhythm, but the Louisville teams are churning out players like it's nobody's business. And I commend them for it because they're phenomenal volleyball players.
Gotcha. And so, and I don't know what is the solution for us to turn that around. Ooh. In Lexington. Like what can we do? I mean, if everybody's on different teams and you don't, because so you have your dead period. So the teams aren't being coached by the high school coaches. So it's not like they can put their whole team in a club league. You can't do that. It's just like AAU basketball. They're not doing that. So I don't know how we can fix that. I definitely want to. I mean, you got to think, but it also took us 40 years to win a state championship out of Lexington for football. So there's still some little disconnect in Lexington that we've got to go. I think Frederick Douglass finally, broke that after 40 years, and and we're hopefully that's going to continue to, to be a new norm for us. But I definitely am excited about how to grow the volleyball. Of course, I was a basketball coach and played basketball. I played volleyball in high school, but and I think probably one of my regrets is I maybe wish I would have taken on, because I could jump out the gym. I could jump over the net and, so that probably might've been a better fit for me, but I just didn't have the mindset 40 years ago to really pursue volleyball over basketball. Because are there more scholarships in volleyball than there is in basketball for girls?
Not necessarily. It's about the same amount.
It's about 12. The same.
You get 12 full scholarships in college, so it's not that big of a difference. I think the big thing for volleyball is just the visibility. It's one of those sports, just like gymnastics and softball and tennis, that it can cater to a certain community because of how expensive it is. And so when it's not accessible to everybody, it's really hard to become a part of it. And I think that's a lot of the things that we're constantly still fighting for in our sport is, how can we make it more accessible to all communities? Basketball, football, track are way more accessible, especially to the Black community, than volleyball is. And it's a huge thing that a lot of us Black volleyball players are very frustrated by. Of how can we change that? But not that we give the opportunities, that they're competing at the same high levels that all these other clubs are. And I think that's also a problem that we're having is, okay, now we're putting these clubs in areas where they might not ever get volleyball, but how can we make them play to the same level and the same opportunities of these big clubs that are making you spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a year, and you're not paying that, but how can they get the same skill level, the same coaching, the same opportunities that everybody else is getting?
Yeah, because I have a friend whose daughter plays for Bryan Station, and we was talking about you coming on. Her name is Cameron Owens, and she's probably one of the up and coming players out of Lexington that's coming up right now. She's getting recruited and seen, and he just told me how much the fees were for a club as opposed to maybe AAU basketball, and I was like, it reminds me of baseball. Because our son played baseball, and of course the fees for baseball were way more outrageous than it was for maybe playing basketball or something. And so sometimes I think maybe it's that financial burden. Everybody doesn't have $3,000, $5,000 to be able to put their kid in a club sport for volleyball. So I definitely would like to be a part of that solution as far as how we can bridge that gap. So that more girls would be interested in volleyball, but it's not even just volleyball, but probably softball and I had someone in swimming. I had someone that was a rower. We there's a lot of other sports and stuff for girls that I think that we need to figure out how to bridge that gap as far as getting more more, especially more Black and brown girls, more involved with those sports, because volleyball, oh my God, the NCAAs is unbelievable. Like what, of course, watching this past year, watching Texas play, because Skinner had played, and then Kentucky just won a championship just 2 years ago.
Mhm.
So of course I watched that whole thing, and of course it was Kentucky, so it was very, very fun to watch, just as engaging and fun to watch as watching volleyball or softball or any of the other sports. So we definitely got to figure out how to do that. Now, when you graduated from the University of Kentucky, your league wasn't there yet, was it?
No.
So what was your options?
So my options, and most of the options for volleyball are internationally. Majority of my friends, I'd say about 85% of volleyball players that play professionally are playing overseas. I have friends in Turkey, China, Japan, Korea, France. I mean, just about every country but America offers volleyball at a professional level, and at a price tag of that's a salary, that's a career,
Mhm.
not just something for fun. Like, you're actually making your money from that. And so coming out of college, I had offers to go play overseas in Europe, and I graduated in 2020, COVID, and that was like, at that point when we're signing contracts in April and May, like, we had no clue what we were getting into. Like, we were only in the first 2 months of COVID.
Oh, wow.
I had friends that were stuck in Europe and Asia. They weren't allowed to come back and leave because of how strict the rules were. So I didn't want to take that chance of, I'm going to a foreign country during something that we've never experienced before, and there's a chance that
I have no idea.
literally have no idea what's going on, be around people that don't speak any language. And like, for me, getting COVID is very, very serious because of my health. And so I didn't want to take the chance of being in a foreign country, in a foreign hospital that didn't have anywhere near to what I would possibly need in order to survive that. And so I was like, I'm not going to take that chance.
Right.
I got a degree in elementary education. So the school that I student taught at, which I was at Dixie Magnet, they were hiring for 5th grade. And so I moved my kids from 4th grade to 5th grade. And I ended up teaching 5th grade over Zoom, COVID. And then in the middle, like, as I'm getting my classroom ready, I got an opportunity to play in Athletes Unlimited, which is another pro volleyball league that's only 6 weeks. And they reached out to me and were like, hey, we're starting this new thing in the States. Like, do you want to join? And I was like, yeah. I got to talk to my principal. And I talked to my principal, and I was like, hey, I got this opportunity to play volleyball. Like, and we all, like, they knew that I played volleyball and that I was at Kentucky. And they were like, oh, you better go play. And all my parents and my kids and the entire school was super, super supportive. So I left for 6 weeks. I was teaching from my hotel room at this other league in Dallas. And then once they went back into person, I had a sub that took over for the rest of the time. And then I finished my season up. I went right back to that classroom on Monday morning, and I finished out with my kids. And then I taught special ed preschool. Why the school is like blanking from my head. It's like right behind the Arboretum. I'm going to like remember at the worst moment. I taught there, and then I decided that I wanted to play volleyball full time, and that's when I decided to continue playing, and I stopped teaching for now.
Okay. So how did they do like the draft? Like I remember when the WBA first came around, and they had like a draft. So how did they do a draft, and how did you get lucky enough to land with Atlanta?
So
because there's only 8 teams, right?
Yeah, there's 7 of them this year, and there'll be 10 next year. So
Okay.
for people my age, the ones that are out of college, have been out of college, it was kind of like a free agency. So we knew all the teams that were going to potentially be teams. Like, so the 7 teams that we have this year, we knew that they were happening. We found out who the coaches were, and it was kind of like the league had a list of, these are all the players who want to play in this league, who are interested, who are somewhat interested, and who don't want to play it at all. And so I, of course, was on that list of, I want to play in this league, put me on one of these teams. And I knew that Atlanta was kind of like where I wanted to be, where it fit me personality-wise, it fit me demographic-wise of what Atlanta's makeup is. And it was close enough to home that I was like, okay, I can get back and forth to home. My parents can get here. Like, it's just like, it's SEC country. I'm used to playing in Athens, and
yes, SEC.
They might recognize me from playing at Kentucky. And so opening that up a little bit. And so that's kind of how I just reached out to one of my friends who was like on the board to kind of help players get into the league. And I was like, hey, I'm interested in Atlanta. Who can you get me in contact with? Reached out to the coach and I was like, hey, I want to be here. If you'll take me, I will gladly come here. And him and the owner were like, oh, we'll take you. And that's how
absolutely.
And I ended up being the first player to sign a contract with the league.
Overall with the league?
Overall, I was
the whole league.
I was the very first.
Oh my goodness!
Come through, first player to sign to the league.
and of course, and you balled out this season, so you became the MVP. So obviously, you were definitely ready to play, and was ready to put to go all out with that. And so, so once you were the first athlete, did you have any say so with who your teammates were?
I did. We actually had a lot more than probably any of the other teams. Our coach and our owner were very much like, who do you want to play for? And so me and our libero were like, we were the first two. And we were like, hey, we want to play with these people and these people and these people. And then like when those, like if there was somebody that like signed to a different team or wasn't interested, we were like, okay, here's the next group and the next group. And they'd ask us like, hey, how do you feel about this person? And we were all like, yeah, grab her. So like our team actually had a lot of say in who we wanted to play with. It was a lot of, hey, these are our group of friends. These people we love on and off the court, and we want to play together. Like, can we make this happen? And that's basically what happened. And I think that's why we had so much.
So that you can't get that.
No, it was
because of that. So you guys already had chemistry. You're not like like the WNBA right now, where they're getting the rookies in, and then the rookies are trying to they're trying to fit in where they can get in. You were able to kind of piece together your own team early enough, and already had chemistry with people. So that a plus. And you guys made it to the Final Four of the championship game.
Yep, we lost in the semis on Wednesday, but yeah, we were regular season champs, #1 seed going in.
Oh, by the way, everybody, so the championship games were actually yesterday.
Yes.
And Grand Rapids ended up winning it.
Omaha.
And that's the first team you all played in the play season, wasn't it?
Yeah, so the team that we played in that same arena ended up winning the whole thing in that same arena. We were like, great. Love that for us.
When I looked at your schedule, you guys still had the best schedule. Mm-hmm. I mean, the best winning percentage in the league, right?
Yes, we did. We only had.
Did I see that right?
Yes, we only ended up with 6 losses, and that's still the best in the league. So we were very excited about that. Of course, we lost at the wrong moment. The one time we didn't want to lose is the one we lost, but it was a really good season. I mean, it's the first season. We're getting something off the ground, and we're ready for more years and more chances to be able to go and try to win that championship again.
Well, I'm just excited that that you have an opportunity to stay home to play. I love the opportunity that that girls can have other options if they're good enough to go pro. That you have those options. I mean, we always talk about players and the baseball play, all the different 10, 15 rounds that they have to be able to go pro and have an opportunity to play. I'm glad that they came up with it. So the other volleyball league, they don't consecutive. I'm taking. They go at different times.
Yes. So the other league, the Athletes Unlimited that I played in, they're in the fall, and it's not a traditional sports league. We're only 6 weeks, and you change teams every week, and there's a leaderboard, and you're ranked from 1 to 44 based on the points that you earn. So there's a point system attached to every skill in volleyball, whether plus or minus, and you just try to get as many points as you can. And the person who scores the most points at the end of the season is the sole champion. There is not a team champion. There is one person that wins the whole thing, and it's pretty cool.
That one. How'd you do?
You cut out. What did you say?
Oh, how did you do? I know the internet is really. how did you end up in that league as far as so what was your ranking?
So my first year, I finished 16th because I left early, so I lost a whole week's worth of points. I left with an injury. My second year, I finished 5th, or 6th, so I was like super close to top 4. And then this past year, I won it, so I finished 1st.
So you are the number 1 in that league and number 1 in the new league. How about that? You're just absolutely killing the game right now. That's why I was so excited about having you on, because people have no idea what it takes to be in an age. And so I really want to talk on what was that preparation. Of course, your dad is a strengthening coach in football, right? So how much of that was a factor in you being an elite athlete, besides the fact that you grew to be 6'2"?
I think it was like huge. Him being a strength coach, and especially at the schools that we were at, I got to be around incredible athletes. I mean, NFL players who are I've been around Super Bowl champions. I've been around NBA champions. I've been around Olympians. Like, I've been around the best athletes that walk this earth. And I got to watch them train, watch their work ethic as a little girl. And you don't think I'm watching those things, or those things are internalizing. But I mean, my dad says I play my sport like a man. So like, clearly I watched a lot, but seeing their drive of wanting to be the best, and seeing that from a young age kind of puts you into that mindset, whether you are understanding subconsciously or consciously, that you're putting in a mindset of how to work hard and things like that. And I think my parents pushed me without like forcing me. And I think there was a good balance of pushing me to want to be my best and excel, but not forcing me to the point where I was burnt out, didn't like volleyball. I think they allowed me to be my independent self, which I very much am, and allowed me to have my own fire and need to want to be successful in my sport and want to be a champion in my sport. But I think they also helped me to understand that playing volleyball at an elite level, or whatever sport I chose, comes with reward of getting to be involved with the community. And I think that's something that I'm super passionate about. And I think that's something that also drives me now, the older I get, of why am I doing this? And they instilled in me that I do things because I love them. I don't do things because it pays my bills. And I've watched my parents be in careers that they love because they know how it impacts other people, and it does what it does for them and how it glorifies the Lord and what they're doing. And so I play volleyball because and I love it because I know that this is an ability and a gift that the Lord gave me to be able to play, and using that to glorify him for however long he deems I get to play this sport. But I do it because I love it. I do it because it's opening doors for girls that I might not have thought about. Like, now there are little girls that are like, I can play professional volleyball. When I was 8, 9, 10 years old learning volleyball, I had no clue professional volleyball existed. I didn't even know
that wasn't an option.
Like, I just didn't know. Like, no one talked about it. Like, it was like the Olympic team, and that was it. But we didn't even know how to get to that. Right. And so to be able to now show girls that they have this path and this thing that they can do, and they can work to it, that can be a goal of like NFL and NBA and all the other sports of like, I'm going to go play in the league. Now we have volleyball players that are going to say, I can go play in the league. Like, I can go play in the league.
I'm going to go play in the league.
Because like, to most volleyball players, college is the peak of your career. And that's as high as level of volleyball that majority of volleyball players are going to get. And so to know now that there's another level that you can aspire to and want to be in, I think is such a huge thing. But yeah, my mindset of sport and why I do it very much stems from how my parents raised me, but also the opportunities I got by their jobs and what they chose to do, of being around some really, really incredible athletes and having connection with those athletes. And there's still plenty of them that I talk to today that know how much they have impacted my life in such a positive way. And I think it's such a blessing that they had the jobs that they had while I was growing up.
Gotcha. Okay. And that's definitely a plus and an advantage that a lot of people, players, don't have. Of course, our son had an advantage because we're both football coaches. My husband's been coaching football, but he also played at the University of Kentucky. So we knew what it takes to get to the next level, and just having those conversations and having the balance. I know for me, Ty's my stepson. So I know for me, I'm always was asking him, are you doing this because you love it, or are you doing this because you feel like you're obligated to because we want you to play? And to me, that was really important for me to always know that he was playing the game because he loved it and not because he felt like he was going to let us down, or because he was going to disappoint us, or because we were living vicariously through him, which a lot of parents do because they didn't have the opportunities that they did, or the skill set. And so that was just really, really important for us, for Ty, that he loves to play. And so you have someone on here that just says that they're cheering on you.
Well, thank you.
And so we love your championship attitude. So was there anyone besides your parents that you were able to getting their ear, as far as just getting just getting advice as far as because the game is mental for anybody. The mental part of the game. Did you have anybody either on the mental part of the game that was an influence for you, or did you have another athlete that was just super duper with being instrumental with your mindset of wanting to be an elite athlete?
Outside my parents, it's really hard because my dad definitely was a lot of that, especially with how he is. But almost all of the coaches that I had coming up in volleyball definitely saw who I was as a person. And it's something that I tell girls all the time. They pushed into who I was. Like, they weren't trying to change my personality, because if anyone's ever watched me play volleyball, I'm real fiery on the court.
Right.
You can see it, and it's very obvious. And some people might downplay that and make, the aggressive Black woman trope of that's,
of course. We get that in corporate America anyway. Yeah. Yes.
And so I had coaches that allowed me to be that, even though that's not what I was just playing because I was spirited and competitive, but that allowed me to be that and pushed me to be that. And anytime they saw me not being that, they were like, whoa,
what's wrong?
What are you doing? And so I think I've been blessed with really, really great coaches. I mean, my coach that I had in North Carolina she's one of my favorite people in the entire world. And she still talks to me, came to watch me play. And she was so instrumental in who I was as a volleyball player. And my club coach that I had in Lexington that passed away from COVID, he was so, so big in helping with my confidence, especially when it came to the recruiting aspect of it, because I had a lot of people that were kind of like back and forth, because I was very raw as a volleyball player. I might not have had this skill set yet. I kind of was just, coaches just put me on the court, let me do whatever I needed to do to win the game.
Right.
But I didn't maybe have as strong as skills as I do now. And he made sure that coaches weren't going like, just be like, oh, well, we're okay. He's like, no, you choose places that are sure about you and have no second guesses about you and know who you are and what you could potentially be. That's a huge reason why I chose Kentucky, because they knew who I was. They knew what I could potentially be. And speaking of Kentucky, those coaches, will be in my life forever. They were some of the most incredible coaches I've ever had in my entire life, from Craig to Anders and Lindsay and Carly. All the coaches that I had just really, really took the time to understand that I have my mindset of a player. Like I said, I play like a man is very different than the average volleyball player. And they took the time to learn who I am as a player and allow me to flourish in my environment, and just let me take over when I needed to take over, and just let me have it. And it just really, really helped me grow confidence, because I never had a coach that told me I couldn't do it.
Oh my God. And that is so huge, because a coach can make or break you.
Yeah. And I think
at any level, a coach can make or break you at any level. I think, again, my husband and I coach. And so it's so important for us. We're at middle school. So a lot of the kids, they haven't developed. You don't know if they're going to have a growth spurt in high school. So they might be small now, and so we're, even the ones that don't seem like they have the skill set right now, we still coach them like they're a superstar, because you never know how they're going to end up developing in the future. And so that's so great to know. And it's made me, and I already respected Coach Skinner, but it's definitely made me respect him even more, hearing that testimony from you about them. And of course, they've done a great job at the University of Kentucky. I don't think they get enough. They're when they won their championship, I think I was just a little bit upset that they don't go all in about the championship like they do when the boys won theirs. And I just wish they would just, I'm just saying that. Don't hold this against my son, but I just wish they would promote and celebrate the women's teams when they win just as much as they do the men's, or if not more, so that we can get fan base coming in. I'm excited about. I think the new gym opens this year, doesn't it?
It does. They're redoing all of
Is it
Memorial.
this fall?
It is this fall.
Right. So we'll be a brand new Memorial Coliseum this year, and I'm hoping. So I'm excited. So yeah, if you're in town and you're going to a game, you'll have to let me know so we can go to a game. And and so I definitely will be excited about making some games. I'm excited about the girls basketball team. They've got a new coach. I was upset when they made the change, but when I saw who came in, I got excited all over again. So I'm excited about the changes. So I'm excited about what's going to happen with the women's sports in a new facility. I'm hoping that it brings a new level of excitement to not only just the players, but also to the fans. Just to be like, hey, we got this basically just a new arena, and just to see kind of what that's going to look like. You're not going to be spread out as you are when you're in Rupp Arena, and so the games look a little bit more packed when it's in Memorial Coliseum. So I'm excited about going to teaching as your profession.
You cut out.
What made you go into teaching as your profession, as your degree in college?
So my mom is a preschool teacher, and she was a teacher off and on throughout my childhood. I've always had a passion for children. I honestly wanted to be an OBGYN going into college. I just really loved that. I was obsessed with it as a kid. Like, I thought it was like the most amazing thing ever. And then I realized what it took to do that, and volleyball, and that was not happening. So I was like, I want to do something with children still. And I knew that education was something I always enjoyed. I did lots of things in high school of like community service in elementary schools and being able to do that. And so I was like, you know what? I think I'd be good at that. And so I started taking classes towards that, and I ended up absolutely loving it and feeling like I really thrived in that environment. And I thought it was really good for me. Again, being in a situation that you don't see very often. I mean, I didn't have a Black teacher till I got to high school, and to have a child that potentially will have a teacher that looks like them, that can relate to them.
Oh my God.
Such formative years, I think is super important. I think it would have made such a difference for me to see that at least once before I got to high school. But yeah, it was a lot of my passion for that as well.
I think having didn't have my first Black teacher until I think high school, and she taught a Black history class. And crazy that I learned a lot about my history from that class if I had never taken that class. But one of the reasons why I took the class, of course, it was Black history, but because she was a Black teacher that was teaching it. And I can, again, one hand on how many Black teachers that I've had growing up. And I think that that's, so unfortunate that we don't have more, especially when you're in a community that has a large influx of Black kids. I think a lot of times, because I work in the school system and I left. I got hit with a chair, so I left. And so, but still coaching in the school system and seeing what some of my players go through that have the IEPs and the 504s, and and sometimes they're having to miss games, and I can just tell that that there's a disparity in they're getting in trouble, or they're getting labeled, or that type of stuff. I worked at my husband works at the alternative school here, and I worked there for 4 years. And of course, at the alternative school, it was the only school that was 75-80% African-American kids, as opposed to any other demographic. Majority of that is because we have a lot of teachers that don't know how to relate to Black kids. And I think that they're very, very misunderstood. And I think parents are already doing the best that they can as far as like trying to rear them and because most of the times, we're two-parent households, and we're not able to sit at home and cater to our kids and teach them. We have to go to work and carry two jobs, and so we don't maybe have the time that other parents of different other demographics have the opportunity to be able to, as far as nurturing their kids. And so I definitely commend you for that, because teaching is not a high-paying profession. So you got to figure out something else. So I would love to. So we're going to talk to you about my husband. So my husband, I've been trying to get him to create our own training facility, and of course, I wanted volleyball to be one of those, because again, because of the cost of private training is expensive. I saw that Monique on here said that at one of her CIAA, she did a free clinic. So I hope and I pray that you start hosting some volleyball clinics for Lexington. Since you came out of Lexington, I'm sure we can find a facility that would be happy to host and put your name on it, and you can host some volleyball clinics for the young girls. Just with promoting that, and I'll add you to. I created a local sports family network group on Facebook so that we could just highlight the sports in Lexington. And so whenever you do something like that, make sure you let me know so that we can promote you. But I hope that that's something that you have in the back of your mind, or put it on your to-do list in the future to host some clinics. And I would love to see you coach one day. Is that in the making? Since your dad is a coach, what do you think?
See, I get asked that so much, and my answer is always the complete opposite of what everybody thinks, and it's no.
No.
I just
Coaching is hard.
I don't foresee myself doing it. I think it'll be so hard to get from the mentality of how I treat volleyball and how serious I take it. I'd be very frustrated if I was coaching a team and not everybody took it as serious as I did.
And everybody doesn't match your, yes. Because
yeah. So
we feel that.
I love a good clinic. I love a good camp when I can just get a group and just be like, here's all the volleyball stuff I know. Go out and do it as best as you can. And
then y'all go back home, and I ain't got to deal with y'all every day.
I don't know. And everybody's like, but you have the patience for teaching. And I was like, teaching and coaching are two very different
things. It's two different things. Two different things. I think the biggest challenge of coaching, you're right, is that because you want the kids to take on your personality, and then when they don't match your energy, it is frustrating, because you're like, I can't teach the mentality. The game is mental, and you either have that mentality or you don't have that mentality. And so that's something that I can teach X's and O's, or I can teach skills, but I can't teach the mentality of the will to want to win, and wanting to be the superstar, or I want the ball. Set me the ball. Give me the ball. Let me win this. That type of mentality is very hard to teach and instill in these athletes in this day and age. And it's really it's really challenging. It's really challenging. What about on the professional level of coaching? Because they have to have that mindset.
You would think
as a professional coach.
Sometimes it doesn't, because when you get to professional, you open up a new mindset once money gets involved. And I've seen it firsthand of how it becomes that is my job, and I'm here to do a job. Sometimes the passion and the love might not be there anymore because it's now your job. So you're doing this. You're playing past maybe when you thought you were going to, because it's your job. So I think I might be able to do maybe like college professional, but I commentate right now, actually, and I have grown to absolutely love that. And I think that can
love the commentating. Oh yeah,
perfect contribution to the volleyball community is
transition.
Spread the knowledge and letting people love the sport and getting people to love the sport as much as I do. And I think me being able to be on SEC Network and do the games has allowed me to talk about the game in a way that maybe people haven't realized, especially coming from someone who's still actively playing.
Absolutely.
So to actively be playing and talking about the game, I think is super beneficial, and I've grown to love that. And I know that that can help spread the game as well, especially with how much media coverage they're now getting. So to add on to that and give and make this something so much bigger than all of us, I think I definitely have a passion for it in that way. Maybe not coaching, but definitely spreading the game in other ways.
Oh, that's outstanding. That's outstanding. Like you said, even better, because now you're like, I can talk, and I come from a perspective that, again, that, and I'm gonna just go there. When I tell you, I get, and this is no shade against Coach Skinner or anybody else. Reason why I ask that is because I do get frustrated that most of our women's sports is being coached by men.
Yeah.
You know, no shade on them. I just would like to see more women coaching women's sports, and and even on the officiating level, because how many times do you get an official that's like, do they even know the freaking rules? and so you're frustrated, like, how do you even get this job and you don't even know the rules? You know, and so, you know, we deal with that with football all the time, because my husband is a stickler with the rules. And so we'll be, you know, even coaching my women's team, you know, we're like, what are they doing? Are they not calling? Why are they not calling that? And how do you not see it? Because Stevie Wonder can see it. So like in volleyball, when I'm watching volleyball, I'm like, how do they not see it? It's not like the court is spread out where you can't see exactly what's going on all the, you know, at any given time. So how do you miss anything? What are you looking at? So so that might be another avenue too, as an official, or, you know. Anyway, I can't wait to see, you know, which direction that you go. I can't wait to hear you commentate, and, you know, anything you got going on. Let me tell you, the city of Lexington, the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame, we are all behind you, and we're gonna promote you as much as possible. I'm gonna send this out to the media guys that I know, because I'm like, how come I haven't heard y'all talk about Leah? And what is the freaking problem? Because if it was John Wall or you know, somebody in the NFL or whatever like that, you're gonna be talking about them all day. So and she's the MVP. None of them guys have gotten MVP in the NBA. So come on, let's do this, or in the NFL. So yeah. Don't play with Leah, because we Leah fans over here, and we're not getting ready to play with her.
I love it.
We're not going to play about you, girl. We got you. We got you back. We got you. So, let me make sure. I've been so engrossed in our conversation. I've been paying attention to any of the comments. So Monique's father taught your father. That's funny. So that's why you guys are so connected. That is so funny. So where are you originally from, Virginia?
No, that's where my dad's from. I claim Kentucky.
Your dad is from?
Yes, I claim Kentucky as my home. That's the longest
Claim Lexington as home?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so excited about that you claim Lexington, Kentucky as your home. That is so cool. So I can't wait to when you get in town, you got to reach out. We'll go get some wine or some juice or whatever it is that you do, and we'll chop it up a little bit. And I'll definitely be running into you at volleyball games, because I definitely will be walking my talk as far as supporting the women's events. I like, I go to softball, I go to basketball games, and as much as I can, but as long as it's not interfering with what I already got on, because I coach 3 teams. I also coach track as well. And Monique said, if you visit Virginia, make sure you reach out to her as well. And what is Pamela?
Oh,
she says, that is huge.
Thank you.
Great example of what can happen to young Black girls. She said her granddaughter is 11, and she's probably tired of her talking about you. Keep doing what you're doing. And this is what it's all about right here, is your influence. Like you have, like I told you, um, I know Cameron Owens is coming out of Lexington, and I hope that maybe I'll have to give you her dad's number, and maybe
Yes,
you
yes,
can
yes.
reach out and give her some. She probably needs some advice because I think she's only a sophomore, so she's getting ready to go into the recruiting process,
Mm-hmm.
and so they probably kind of need some help with navigating that because that's when we went through the recruiting process with Kentucky. Of course, we always wanted him to go to Kentucky. But we tried to let it. Well, we did. We let him make his own decision. But of course, we was just like this, like please choose Kentucky. And luckily he did, and we found out, that it was his dream home, and Kentucky wanted him. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and that is the thing too. Kentucky wanted him, so we're so thankful for Coach Merrow and Coach Stoops and the rest of the Kentucky staff for allowing us to be able to enjoy our son right here at home with the team that we love to support. And so I know that had to be. I think when you played, I think I might have made only a couple of volleyball games because I had other things going on, but. It was exciting to see you on the court, and it was exciting again to see that fiery energy that you bring, because when we take that, like that's how I played. As I played like a dude when I played basketball and volleyball. And so, but when I got into corporate America, my aggressiveness was always intimidating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of had to figure out a way to tone that down, or to adapt, so that I made people comfortable being around me and talking to me, and otherwise they were intimidated by me. But I'm a competitor, and so it's hard for that competitiveness to not come out as, I guess, aggression, or and then I'm not going to let you punk me either.
Right. Right.
What you're not going to do is disrespect me and punk me either. So don't get that twisted either. So, what I mean, I don't know what else they expect us to do but to be us. So I'm so thankful that you had coaches that embraced that in you and that allowed you to be you, and you continue to be you as a teacher, because the kids need the discipline and they need that regimen in the classroom. If you go back to teaching, and when you go on the air as a commentator, bring that same fiery personality. They need that, or we need that. The fans need that, and don't let anybody else do anything but you. But we are looking forward to the next however many years where you're going to be in the league. I hope that CBS takes on more games and is able to expand the viewership. But everything is free on YouTube, though, right?
Yeah, I have been. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, you can go and watch. So you guys can. So it's the provolleyball.com is the website, but it's the Professional Volleyball Federation is the league that she's a part of. She plays for the Vibe. So there's 7 teams, but 2025, Dallas, Indianapolis, and Kansas City, I think they're saying that they're coming on board for 2025. Atlanta, Columbus, Grand Rapids, Omaha, Orlando, San Diego, and Las Vegas are the current teams. In 2025, we should see Dallas, Indianapolis, and Kansas City. And so I'm glad we're already looking at the expansion.
Yeah.
And to me, I guess we should partner up with the fans from the WNBA. Need to make sure that they're following the pro volleyball, and the pro volleyball fans need to start following the WNBA, and then we just need to come together as one big women's sports community where we're supporting one another. And of course, I'm always a proponent of women in sports. So Leah, congratulations again, MVP of the Professional Volleyball Federation. And you were the #1 player in, what's the name of that league?
Athletes Unlimited.
Athletes Unlimited. I gotta write that down. On the Athletes Unlimited league. So you're a beast. So right now you're the face of volleyball in the whole state, in the whole United States. How does that feel?
I'm just trying to grow the game. enjoying every moment, but just excited to have the opportunities to do it in the States. And I think that's the biggest part, is that I'm doing it in America, not doing it overseas, which gives you just a little bit more
And
pride.
overseas, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what does the USA volleyball look like? Is that only high school, or is that something that you can try out for? What does that look like for our Olympic team?
So they're actually in the middle of playing. They're playing this thing called Volleyball Nations League. It's when all the countries are playing each other. So they just finished playing in Brazil, and they'll do about 3 more weeks of that, and then they'll have different competitions throughout the summer, and then they'll go to the Olympics. It's kind of a hard process to explain. Sometimes you can get invited. Some people kind of like work through the pipeline. It just kind of depends. They kind of like just pick and choose. It's like hard to describe how that whole situation works, because it's like you get picked,
Right.
and sometimes you're in the gym for 1 year, you might not be in the gym the next year. It just kind of like depends on what they need. Of course, you saw a lot of this year going into the Olympics, a lot of your former Olympians kind of starting to come back or joining in on things, or you have people making like big pushes to try to make that team if they've been. Volleyball kind of goes on, we call it a quad cycle. So it's a 4-year cycle usually that you're in that gym trying to get onto the Olympic team. And then once the Olympics are over, you kind of reset, because you get a lot of people that might retire after that Olympics. So it kind of like is in 4-year spans, but of course with COVID kind of messed up those like structured 4 years. So it's interesting. I mean, it just kind of depends on what your goals are, if that's what you want to be a part of. They kind of just like pick and select who they want or who they think might fit in the best in the gym.
I mean, right now you're looking like the best player in the nation right now. So I'm trying to figure out why they wouldn't pick you to be on the Olympic team when we got the Olympics coming up. But okay, I mean, I'm gonna leave that alone. Because again, I don't know nothing about that process. But I'm probably gonna have to, again, I'm probably just to look into it. So how else can we support you as a community, as a Lexington community, as a sports family community, sponsorship availability? Can we sponsor you? How can we support you?
I think the big thing for me is just the respect of women's sports. And I think that's always been a big thing for me coming through Kentucky and being in Kentucky, of making sure that we are honoring our women's sports as much as we do our Kentucky football or basketball or Louisville football or Louisville basketball. I think we have a lot of women that have come through Kentucky, especially UK, that have done some record-breaking, beautiful, like amazing things. And I feel like they didn't get celebrated as much as they should have. I know that career-wise, after leaving college is a little bit different, but I think that we should still be celebrating them just as much as we do our NBA players or our NFL players, because I think they are doing amazing things too. And I think we can continue to push that. And especially with what's going on, like if you haven't supported them now, like here's your chance to like jump on the bandwagon, because everybody's doing it
Jump
right
on
now.
the bandwagon now. We'll take
join
bandwagoners right now.
Because once that train takes off, you're going to look really bad to jump on it after the fact. But I feel like this is the perfect time. All women's sports are really flourishing on so many different levels, whether it's media-wise and things like that, and just continuing to give our women's sports and our amazing female athletes that we have in Kentucky, that are from Kentucky, the platforms that they deserve, and making sure that we're giving them just as much coverage, because now you got professional volleyball in the States. So now I'm expecting to see those girls that played at Kentucky, that came through Kentucky, that are from Kentucky, are getting that same type of acknowledgement that you do of our NBA players that are playing in the
I can't wait to see Maddie and her sister and some of them. Yeah. And I know what team does O'Neal play on? Is she in that league?
She was on the Columbus team. Mm-hmm.
On the Columbus team? Okay, cool. Yeah, I can't wait to see, any of them, but especially the ones that came out of Kentucky, to see them on the league. I'm gonna definitely go through the roster and find out, or now that I know, I can keep up with it, so that I can make sure that I'm promoting them, and and then sharing, and then I'll definitely be sharing the live for the Atlanta, when y'all season comes back open, into our groups and on my social media, so that people can watch you play, since they do stream it live on YouTube. So I'll make sure I'm definitely promoting that so that people can watch you play. But you're the face of volleyball right now, professional volleyball, and you're doing a great job of representing us. I'm so proud of you. We are so proud of you. We support you. She could be found on. I found her on Instagram, Leah Edmond 13 on Instagram. Make sure y'all go and follow her. She's also on Twitter. Go X. Go follow her. She's on Facebook. Go and follow her and blow her up, because sometimes that's how right now sponsorships are coming off of your social media likes and stuff like that. So when you have a great social media following, the sponsorships are able to come from that, and you should have the sponsorships coming out of the yin yang right now that you're the face of professional volleyball. So don't log off. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. First of all, thank you to the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame for sponsoring today's show. Make sure you come to the gala on September the 21st, Leah. There'll be some people there that you'll love to meet that come out of Lexington. We are honoring some of our past Lexington sheroes and heroes that definitely paved the way for sports in Lexington. So go to laashof.com. You guys can still sponsor a table, or you can sponsor the gala, but we also are collecting scholarship money, because we give away scholarships to student athletes, and so that's our biggest baby, is giving scholarships to student athletes. So the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame, thank you again for sponsoring, and thank you so much for being on. And with that being said, Monique Smith, thank you, and Miss Pamela, thank you for being on and engaging. And anybody else that's on, thank y'all for coming on. And I love y'all. I'll